Western women and modern women are two cope terms. It's like women actually love us. It's just a problem with the ones here for whatever reason. Well, here's a guy who's moved to the Philippines, and it's no different there, right? This is what passport bros get. The same old, same old. The only difference is you bring them enough money that you can bribe a woman, and that's it. Doesn't change anything. And by the way, all you Lucasm guys, this isn't, you can argue about whether this guy's good looking or not, but he's not sub five, is he? And he's an older man. He's an attractive man when he was young. And yet he still had to go to the Philippines. So keep your lookism bullshit to yourselves. Now let's hear this.
Hello, you lovely, lovely people. Welcome back again. This video, I want to talk about like a friend of mine that I met here, and he is now in prison in the Philippines. He's serving time here. And I'll tell you what happened. The guy I'm talking about, he's an American guy. Really good-natured man, very kind man. And when I was building this house, when I first bought this land...
Good-natured man and a kind man, see? And he had to run to the Philippines because women aren't interested in that. Good men, kind men turn them off. That's why the better of a person you are, the more you have to up the bribe.
He used to come over and help me, you know, two hands are better than one. When we first started clearing all the land. And I met him in the rented accommodation where I was at. And it was like a band of apartments. And he was right down the bottom, and he had like a fair bit of land that he had, or he was renting. And he also had, hello, I will get out your way, I will move forward. These people here, incidentally, I think they bought that land that I was talking about the other day. So yeah, he was, he had this land, and he had chickens and all kinds. He was really settled here. But he was with...
Yeah, chickens. Yeah, you basically have to become a farmer when you go to these third world countries, right? If it's not your style, too bad. That's what it takes to bribe one of these gorgeous beauties back here.
This woman, same age as him, and he was, I think he's 2 or 3 years younger than I am. And I think his wife was the same age as him, or his girlfriend. And they've been together for a long time.
Yeah, he couldn't even bribe a young one.
Now, as I got to know him a little bit more, he was telling me a little bit about her, that she was like a bit mood swings. Like, one day she'd be good, or a week she'd be good. Oh, my dog's found me. And then she'd turn on him.
Hey guys, that sounds just like Western women. I thought this was a Western woman thing. She gets moody. You can afford to be moody when you're in charge, though. That's the thing.
And become nasty and, quite aggressive. And she had 2 daughters. One was, I think, 16, and the other one was 14, I believe.
Oh, so he's a cuck too, right? This is why the cuck nonsense has to go to, guys. All men are cucks. All men have to pander. This guy wanted a woman in his life. So did you. So did I. And this is what it takes. It takes whatever it takes. I'm going to repeat that. It takes whatever it takes. So if demand goes up, you just fill the demand. So there is no magical man out there who puts demands down. You either fulfill their demands or the relationship doesn't happen.
And they used to call my friend Dad, because he's, like, he was with her for quite some time. Anyway, what happened was, stop it, Jackie, stop. What happened was, because of the argumentation that was going on and the aggressiveness from her, And I did see it, you know, when I used to go around there sometimes, because she said, you know, come around, you know, we'll have like a few beers and we'll have something to eat. And sometimes she was lovely, and sometimes she was, you know, like a different person. So I actually,
See, a man has to control himself. He couldn't be wishy-washy like that in a relationship because a woman would just boot him out. But men, they put up with that.
saw this change. So what happened? He said to me, Steve, he says, you know, like, I can't stand this no more. He says, I'm going to have to leave. So I said, well, where are you going to go? I said, you know, what are you going to do with the place there? He said, well, he said, I'll pay 6 months rent for her. But he said, I'm going to have to go. But he said, I can't tell her.
The guy has to buy his way out of the relationship. It's not just buying your way into it. You've got to buy your way out of it. And again, guys, how is that any different from Western living? Western women.
I said, what do you mean you can't tell her? He said, well, if I tell her, he says, you know, she's going to kick up a real stink and probably become very aggressive. I said, well, you just can't just go, can you? I said, how are you going to do that? How are you just going to, you know, do like, you know, like a moonlight flip? And he asked me to help him. And I didn't want to. I said, look, I said, I'm not, you know, I said, I like you. You're a good man, good mate. But I said, I'm not getting involved in this.
Yeah, fuck you. You're on your own, dude. This is what male friendship's all about, too, guys. This genius here doesn't realize how bad he looks. He's a man of poor character. He doesn't realize how bad he looks. He says, you can't just sneak off, but I'm too scared to help you. So you can't sneak off, but I'm definitely sneaking out of here, right? Like these hypocrites.
I
Who's this coward to tell this man he can't just sneak off?
said, I said, I'm still living here and she's living there. I said, you know, she might flip out on me.
So what? You don't live with her. This is what men are. Men are afraid of women. He's afraid of his neighbor. So what if she flips out on you? Just say, go to your place and I'll go to mine. Shut the door, right?
So anyway, what he did, he took his stuff out there gradually, clothes, only clothes.
Uh,
And he moved about 10 kilometers away. And they were separated for about a year then. And he kept coming here all the time. He was helping me. And she kept phoning my wife saying, is Manuel there? Well, he
this is after a year, guys. Hey, this is the non-Western and non-modern behavior of women. Notice how it's exactly the same as modern and Western. It's almost like people are the same everywhere you go. After a year, like this woman doesn't even like this guy, but he can't just walk out on her. This is what relationships are worldwide as well. The woman allows you in, but you're only leaving if she tells you to go. You don't leave her, she leaves you.
he was. So Mira said, yes, he's here. He's helping Stephen do the house. But she didn't know where we lived. And she asked Mira for directions. I said to Mira, I said, look, don't get involved in this. I said, tell her that, you don't want her around here when Manuel's around here. Okay. Anyway, Mira changed the number. My wife changed the number because she was contacting all the time, texting, messaging, and getting nasty to my wife. And starting to get nasty to, like about me, saying that I convinced her boyfriend to leave. Nothing to do with me. So,
The do with me. Don't come after me. Make me sick. Hey, why don't you guys call the police on this woman? Like charge her with something, right?
this Filipina would not leave Manuel alone. Now, he found someone else, Manuel.
He bribed someone else. That's why these immigrants, this is what this guy is. He's an immigrant, and the guys call themselves expats because they don't want to admit that they're immigrants. That's what these immigrants do. They use their wealth to get women into their lives. And then they often have to play the old leapfrog game. One relationship burns out, go to the next one. And this is what someone else talked about as well, right? This guy taught, someone else pointed out that Westerners tend to call themselves expats, right? Expatriates, because they don't want to call themselves immigrants, which is what they are. Because you can't bash on immigrants while becoming one yourself, right? So you rename yourself. I find that disgusting too.
This is where the problem started. He found someone else, and she found out about it, and she bumped into him in Dipolog City.
This is it. After a year, she was annoyed, but finding someone else, man, men cannot move on. There's that unwritten rule that you see everywhere. When the relationship ends, the man is supposed to just wither and die. He's not supposed to prosper. And this is a universal attitude that women have. Universal.
I wasn't there, I was here. When what Manuel was telling me after, and all hell broke loose. She was being really aggressive, she was pushing him, and the girlfriend, his new girlfriend, she was telling the girlfriend all sorts of things about Manuel, what he was doing, how he was not a good man, and this, that, and the other.
So even his new girlfriend was saying how Manuel isn't a good man. Well, that's quite an upgrade from the Western woman. Don't you agree, guys? All the women are behaving the same way, behaving aggressively. Notice the word violence never gets used for women.
Then what happened? She made an allegation to the police. So she went to the police, this ex-girlfriend of Manuel, and she made an allegation of indecent assault. And this day, me and Manuel, we were meant to be going fishing. And it was a Saturday morning. I'll never forget it. It was a Saturday morning. And this is 3 years back. This is 3 years ago now. And I thought, he's late. And Manuel was never late. He was always on time. He was very punctual. He was in the military. And he got...
He was in the military. Right. So typical. Another ex-military, another guy using the military to get ahead. And he still has to run away to some third world country where the bride price is low enough that he can actually get someone who hates his guts. Typical male behavior, by the way.
discharged because of an injury on his back. But he was in the military. So he had a good pension as well. And he sent me a message. Because I said, where are you? He was like, an hour late. And that wasn't Manuel. Where are you? He said, I don't think I'll be coming today. I said, I've been arrested. What? You've been arrested for what? He said, I don't know the charge yet. And he was in the police station. I need his cell phone. He was texting. So I said,
Hey, the legal systems are really different from the West too, right? I've been arrested and I don't know the charge yet. Sounds familiar? It's almost like the police are the same worldwide as well.
do you want me to come down there? He said, well, I wait till they process me and wait till they find out what I've been charged with. Anyway, that evening he sent me a message. I was messaging all the time and there was no answer. And he sent me a message and he said, I think I've been charged with indecent assault. What? Indecent assault? With whom? He said, with his ex-girlfriend. I said, what? And yes, he was charged with indecent assault. She couldn't bear the thought of him with someone else. Now,
There you go. Two things there. One, she couldn't bear the thought of him being with someone else. It's not that she loved him. It's an ego thing, right? This woman could get a new man and would still charge him. Secondly, how can they charge him if they have no evidence whatsoever? How is that different from here in the West?
I don't know if it was 100% that he didn't, but I don't think so. I mean, we don't know people, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors. But Manuel
Well, see the lack of character of this bum? He's spreading an olive branch. He could see that this woman is a nasty person. It's 100% on her end. And he's trying to say, well, we don't know what happens to behind closed doors. My friend who's so good and so gentle, he's probably a monster when I'm not looking, right?
didn't seem like that to me. But then what does a person who is like that seem like? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. My friend, this is male friendship, guys. My friend who has proven to be a gentle person the whole time I've known him. I mean, he could be a monster when I'm not looking, right? Never mind how much bad behavior the woman has shown. I can't make an assumption because, he's male and she's female, right? Low life right here. Low life right here.
So he, he's now in jail. He's in jail now. And this case has been going on for 3 years. Now, his ex-girlfriend said to the judge that she wanted 4 million pesos to drop the charges. And I don't even know you can do that. I didn't even know if you've been charged with something.
These geniuses don't even know anything about the countries they go to. They don't know the legal system. They don't know the laws. All they know is it's cheap and you can bribe a woman. That's it.
If you can demand money from the accuser or the defendant and the plaintiff, together, I don't know if that's possible, but apparently it was. And Manuel said no. He said, I'm not paying that. He said, I've got the money, but I'm not paying that because if I pay that, then that looks like I'm guilty. Which, fair point. And so he said, no, I'm not paying it. Even the judge told his lawyer, get Manuel to pay it, and then he's out of here. But
Yeah, the legal system just the same. Just admit you're guilty, pay this woman off, and get out of here. Again, guys, how is this different from the behavior you see in the Western courts?
he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't do it because he said, if I pay that, then it looks like I'm guilty. So this case has been going on for 3 years, guys, and I'm just saying this story, how easy it is for an ex, like a disgruntled ex-partner, to make an allegation in the Philippines, like a Philippine partner, your wife or your girlfriend, and here, because it was a Filipino citizen, they act upon that, which quite right so. But back in our country, while that was going on, you would be out, you'd be on bail, I would imagine. But here, and the bail, I think the bail was set at 2 million. No, wrong. There is no bail. When it's indecent assault in the Philippines, you don't get bail. So
So, what's the point of leaving England if you chose some places just as bad legally?
when you are accused of, sexually assaulting or indecently assaulting, there is no bail. You you can't get out until your case is done, guilty or not guilty. Um, so he is still in there now, and I do go and see him occasionally, and he's in the local jailhouse here, and he's lost so much weight. He looks ill, and I said to him, Manuel, you okay? He said, yeah, Steve. He said, I'm okay. He said,
Notice you get punished as a man, whether you're guilty or not. He gets out with not guilty, he's going to get punished. He's been punished. He's been in jail for 3 years. He may as well have just been charged. Just say, yeah, beat her up, put me away. It would have been the same thing.
This, put this down to our life experience. I said, life experience? I said, why the hell didn't you pay the 4 million pesos that you wanted?
There you go. There you go. This man, we're going to end it here, has zero character. That's why he's in the Philippines, guys. Women abusing the legal system, just run away. Just be a good little boy and change your lifestyle. Can't get a woman here? Go to a third world country. Never stand and fight, ever. This guy is a loser, and I mean it in the real sense. He's continually running away. Now, I'll answer my own question before we go. You know, why go to a third world country if it's the same as a first world country? Because there's one difference. You have enough money to bribe a woman in your life in the third world. That's it. So these guys, including this man, is willing to be a second class citizen, not even a citizen, as long as he has a woman in his life. So they're paying all this money to live in a third world country, to have women who don't like them and don't respect them, only to lose them and then leapfrog to another one and get yourself jailed. It's all worth it, dude, because you have that woman in your life because she loves you. End of video.